Hi, and welcome to the first ever episode of the Good Ole Podcast. I'm Jacquie Franciulli for Wahoo's 24/7, and I'm just really excited to get this podcast going. Just like I said in that 30-second promo we clipped, this podcast is really about not only breaking down the game-by-game analysis for Virginia basketball and Virginia football and Virginia recruiting, but it's also about getting to know the program that you grew up watching, getting to know what's going on behind the scenes, getting to know the Virginia athletes. Because at the end of the day, these athletes are what make this program work. These are the athletes that, put in their blood, sweat, and tears. And my aim for this podcast is not only to provide in-game analysis, but it's to provide their side of the story. It's so that you understand what it takes for them to be prepared on the field, but also what makes them tick. Because at the end of the day, getting to know them personally helps you kind of put a bigger picture or understand them a little better on Saturdays or in the midweek games or those night games for basketball. So that is my aim for this podcast, which is why I'm really excited about our first guest. This is someone that I've hyped up a lot on Twitter. And this is someone that I wish had the ball a lot more last season. But unfortunately, he is not able to return for the 2022 season under Tony Elliott. But I know a lot of UVA fans are going to be cheering on wherever he ends up. So without further ado, let us introduce former UVA running back Devin Darrington. Devin, nice to have you here on our first ever episode.
Oh yeah, thank you. I'm glad to be here, and thank you for having me on. Excited.
Watching last season and seeing the potential that you had on the field, especially towards the end of the season when we were seeing you getting more carries. When you look back at the season, what do you remember most?
Oh man, when I look back on the season, I just remember, running out of the tunnel and hearing the Wahoo fans scream, and it's just something I'll never forget. And being on the field with the other running backs and just learning things and just the energy that the team brings, with each other, is something amazing. I'll never forget, running in the games, having the ball handed off to me and just making, I'm a playmaker, and whenever my number's called, I just like to perform and do what I can do. So I had a great experience there and made plenty of memories that I'll never forget.
And now you're in Texas because there's going to be a very important event happening in the next few weeks, which is going to be Pro Day. Tell me a little bit about what's been going on in Texas, what type of training you're doing up there.
Oh yeah, I'm down here in McKinney, Texas at Michael Johnson Performance Center. Down here getting ready. We've been working on a lot of drills, a lot of testing drills, running back things, catching out of the backfield, just making sure that everything's fundamentally sound, everything's fast, strong, just so everything looks good. And it's been great. I've been loving it. Meeting all the guys here. It's a great atmosphere. A lot of the guys, college athletes from all over the nation, and NFL guys come through. Agents, everybody. It's just a good environment, and everybody's bringing the energy every day. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So for me, just been perfecting my craft, man. I'm a great tester. So for me, just been being consistent with my numbers. I have great testing numbers, and I'm excited to show the scouts what I can do.
Have you learned from the other guys there? Is something that, you're there, you're talking to other people going through the same thing. Do you feel like you're picking up a couple of things that you didn't know before, or just something that helps you improve a little bit more?
Oh yeah, well that's the beautiful thing about being at a place where there's a lot of guys from different schools and around the nation. I'll be hopping in the wide receiver drills, hopping in wherever I see fit. Just to pick up on some things. I'll learn from the wide receivers on a couple of things in their route running, just so I can get the edge, because at the end of the day, that can separate you, those little details, and just learning from the other running backs, and we all learn from each other and teach each other things, and everybody just brings the energy, and it's great atmosphere again. So yeah, I've learned a lot while I'm down here, especially about testing and little techniques here and there to tweak, bring a little bit of time down on the testing. So I'm enjoying it.
You've been through probably the most bizarre college football career, if you think about it. You came in, you went to Harvard from high school. You got a great degree from Harvard, but then you had that COVID year where you didn't know what was going to happen. And then you transferred to UVA, and then you had only one season in UVA, but you wanted more at UVA. That you didn't want to end the career the way it ended without a bowl game or anything because of again the game was canceled due to COVID. Is it frustrating after the ups and downs to your career to end it like that because the NCAA didn't allow you to come back?
Well, I wouldn't say it was frustrating. I feel like I had a lot more left out to prove, and definitely the team as well. We had a lot more to prove. We felt like we could have definitely done better. But I wouldn't see it as me being disappointed or anything like that. I just look at it as if it's my time. God put me in the position, and I just got to focus on my next steps that's ahead of me. So I wouldn't see it as anything negative or leaving off on a bad foot. I just I'm excited and I'm happy for my time that I've spent at UVA. I've learned a lot, and I think everything happens for a reason. So the way things went, I just think that was the way things were supposed to go, and then just focus on the next things. And I know that team, they're going to be great next year. A lot of great guys coming back. I'm excited to watch them, cheer them on, and I'm sure they're excited for me too, going on to the next level. So, I was hoping I could come back, and run the ball one last time for Wahoo Nation, but things happen, and just gotta look forward, look ahead, and I'm excited for the next step of my journey, and I can't wait to come back.
Could you talk a little bit about what happened after, the end of the season? You decided to appeal to the NCAA for the extra season, but you were denied because Harvard never played that year in 2020 because obviously the Ivy Leagues canceled the season. But you appealed again. I think a bunch of you guys from the Ivy League decided to come together and meet with the NCAA. Could you discuss what the conversations were like? And did you feel were you feeling during that? Because I know you said you weren't frustrated, but at the same time, from just listening to you, it feels like you really wanted to come back to UVA for one more season. So it has to be a little bit frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was a little disappointed at first, but then thinking about it later on, like I said, what's meant to happen happens. So when I first got the news, that they canceled the season in the Ivy League, I was actually working out, and it was pretty sad news because I didn't know what I was going to do from there. And then I hopped in the portal, and a bunch of teams called, and UVA was one of them. And UVA stuck out to me, so I felt that UVA was the best decision. And from that Harvard year, I know my freshman year I played in like 3 games. Sophomore, junior year I played, and then senior year, my 4th year coming up, senior year, I was hoping we were going to play, but that didn't happen. So when I transferred to UVA, that was supposed to be my senior year, and just being there on the team and having conversations with guys, and I hearing some guys like, yeah, I'm I redshirted or I'm coming back next year, and some guys older than me are talking about they're coming back, and I'm just like, how does that work? But I try not to dwell on it, think about it. I can only control what I can control. Only thing I can control is my positive attitude. So I appealed the first time, and it got shut down because they were trying to have a meeting about it, because like you said, there were a lot of Ivy League students trying to do the same thing. And then I guess next time they met, they just shot it down. So for me, right then immediately, my next thought was the NFL and getting ready and getting prepared, because it's right around the corner. And I just want to leave my mark, man, and be remembered by UVA and everybody else. And I feel like I have a lot to prove, and I'm excited. I'm excited, and I've been working really hard. I'm ready to get at it. So.
When you look at what UVA has on the field coming back, you touched it a little bit on that you're excited to see. I just want to hear your thoughts about Tony Elliott. What was your first vibe? Because you obviously did try to come back. What was your vibe of the Tony Elliott hire, and what's your impression of the new staff?
Oh man, starting with the last staff, Coach Mendenhall and all the other coaches, they were great, man. So when they left, and Coach Elliott came, and I actually know Coach Elliott. I knew him in high school because I was getting recruited by Clemson my junior year, so I was coming up to Clemson for camps, and meeting him and Dabo and all those guys. So I already knew him. He was the running backs coach at the time. And then he became the offensive coordinator at Clemson on later. So when I heard he got the job, man, I was like, wow, this is crazy. It would be magical if I got another year. Him being a previous running back coach and offensive coordinator, it's something anybody would have asked for, any running back would have asked for. So I know he's got the program, under his wing, and I know he's going to do great things. All the guys that he's hired and kept, and I'm just excited to see those guys. And I already see the videos they're posting on, Instagram, working and working out. I just know it's all good work. And that's one thing about, the UVA that can't take from it, man. All those guys up there, they love to work, day in and day out. So
When you look at those videos, and you see those guys, it seems, they really seem to really buy into what Tony Elliott is saying. Have you talked to any of the former UVA players that you kind of talk to, or do you kind of reach out to them?
Oh yeah. We talk all the time. Group chats and those guys. Those are my guys. So we always chatting and talking FaceTime, whether it be us playing the game or just a regular phone call. But Coach Elliott, he's sharp. They tell me he's on his thing and on his grind, and the strength and conditioning staff is putting in the work, and everybody's just putting in the work. So it's a lot of positivity going around. So a good environment from what I've heard, and those guys are working hard, and just grateful, just grateful to get back out on the field. And like I said, a lot to prove. So I know those guys are definitely working hard to prove that and just to have a better season.
Who did you connect with most on that roster? I imagine Mike Hollins and you, coming in. Mike Hollins didn't play during that pandemic year too, decided to opt out. You guys were both coming in after 1 year sitting out. I'm guessing you guys kind of gravitated towards each other.
Oh yeah, I actually I can't say one guy specifically, man. Those guys, all of them, just characters, man. They're all my guys. The running backs, all the running backs. We stay close, of course, that's your position group. But even outside of that, it's just like a big family. You got guys all over the locker room. And just I talk to all the time, real close with. So I can't say there's one specific person that I just gotten so close to. I just really gotten close to a lot of guys on the team, and that was one thing I was grateful for coming in because I've transferred a lot. High school, I went to school for 3 years and transferred my senior year, ironically, and then same with Harvard and UVA. So I was kind of used to making new friends and things like that. So I was kind of curious to see how it was going to go. Going to UVA from Harvard and how that was going to go, and I was excited, and things just went well. Everybody, we all molded well together since that first summer I came in. Everybody was working hard during the workouts, leaning on each other. And that's one of the things we talked about, all summer leading up to the season, just leaning on each other and being a team. And you could just see it when we were working out. And that was one of the things that, stuck out to me. But all those guys, man, they're great guys. And, I can't take them from those guys. They're characters. And I love being in that locker room.
I know you said that you're going to remember Wahoo Nation cheering on in Scott Stadium and just them being connected with the players. But if you had to remember one memory, if you had to, in 10 years' time, look back at your time at Virginia, what would stand out?
Oh man, actually, probably I'd probably have to say two memories. One game, Coach Mendenhall let me, hold the flag and run out there and be the first guy out there and just, taking it all in. All the lights and all the screaming and fans cheering, and it was just an experience I'll never forget. And it got me super pumped. Ready to play the game of football that I love, and just something that you grow up dreaming of as a kid, and it really pushed me and motivated me. And then the next memory I'm gonna have to say is I was actually at Sakura's hibachi eating a meal, and there's this kid named Alex Weiss I saw there, and he's like, "Oh man, you're Devin Darrington, man. You're one of my favorite players." And it just hit home for me, just being like, man, I used to be that kid, looking up to guys, and now I'm in the position where guys are looking up to me. So every time I went to the game, I saw him and his family, and that's an experience I'll never forget. Motivating the next generation, and younger players, and just people in general. Just meeting great people through the game of football is something that I'll cherish forever. So.
Were you able to talk to him and his family at those games too?
Oh yeah, yeah. I met with them a couple times. Signed some shirts. I actually saw them again out at another restaurant. I think it was Texas Roadhouse, something like that. But saw him again, and we chopped it up. And I called him on his birthday. It was his birthday, wish him happy birthday and things like that. So just a great family, man. And there's plenty of those families out there that I've talked to, and a lot of fans that I've met, and just grateful for Wahoo Nation and what they provide and bringing me in, and it's just nothing like the atmosphere.
And I know you already touched on a little bit, moving forward, you're grateful for everything that UVA has done for you in your career and just moving forward. But now you're focused on getting better individually so that you can impress on pro day. When you kind of switch to that next chapter, what are some of the things that you're really focused on in the next few weeks and months to prove to NFL teams that you would be an asset to them?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said, showing off my speed and quickness. I feel like I'm a bigger guy, running back. So a lot of people don't think I can move as fast as I can, and then I go out there and move, and they're like, wow, he's really fast. So just going out there and showing them that, and working on my hands. Always got to have those. Always been working on the hands, and just being a complete all around package. You know what I'm saying? So you can't have anything lacking. You wanna be that guy that they say, wow, we don't see any faults, even though nobody's perfect, but you want to be as close to perfect as you can. So just been working on minor details. That's the thing that'll get you through. Coming back to the hotel after training, doing yoga, stretching, doing extra things, whatever I have to do. Also diet, make sure you eat right, eat clean, so you have the energy to train for the next day. All that takes into account. So just got to be really sharp on everything, training wise, nutrition wise, and stretching and all that. Make sure your body's good to go, so you can give it your all every day in training, so you can perform on pro day. So
So that means no Texas barbecues?
no Texas barbecues, unfortunately. I'm gonna have to come back down here when I'm done.
How do you handle that? You have to keep a diet to try to get your body ready for NFL Pro Day, but you're smelling the barbecues probably going on next door to you.
Oh man, yeah, it's so. This is my first time being down here in Texas, and it's nothing like it. It's so much food. Like everywhere you drive is like food, and it's tempting. It was tempting at first, but after a while, I kind of got used to it. Not turning my head. I drive straight, not looking left or right. But it's been good. They got a chef that makes food over at MJP. He brings it over, and it's great food, and it tastes great. So it's good and great nutrition. So I can't complain.
So how much in depth are you going into this? Because I knew you were training, but I had no idea that your training also involved having I didn't know that you would have a chef where your I guess meals are planned according to exactly what you need. How detailed is this?
Oh yeah, MJP, they don't play around. They don't play around. There's been a lot of great guys that have came from MJP, and those guys make sure that you're sharp to the point. And my agent, we talk all the time, Barry Gardner, and we just talk about being as close to perfect as possible and being positive all the time, and every day going into workouts having a mission, having a goal. I'm going to get better at something, elevate and evolve my game. That's where my mindset has been, and all the minor details, like I said, when it comes down to diet and stretching and things like that, those play a big role. And it's pro day. It's one opportunity, one day, to showcase what you've been working on your whole life. So you just want to make sure that everything's perfect on that day, so you can show out.
Give me an example of a meal. I'm curious now. Give me a little example. It's not because I'm hungry. It's not all because I'm hungry. But what is your daily example?
So like just now, I actually ate some salmon and rice and broccoli. He usually has a menu with like things you can choose throughout the week, and guys choose. So like I wake up in the morning, eat some potatoes, eggs, and bacon, little chopped up pieces of bacon in a little bowl. Then I'll eat a little protein bar, get a little water in me before I go to work out. Then I come back to work out and I eat another meal. They'll have like Chicken, pasta, put a little hot sauce in there.
Can't go without the hot sauce.
Can't go without the hot sauce. Let's see, I have, baked beans, asparagus, just good things. And the way he prepares the food it's very tasty. I'm not going to lie to you. It's very tasty. I was kind of caught off guard when I took my first bite because, usually when you do like meal prep stuff, it's like, hit or miss, but their food is great. And, me, I'm not trying to specifically lose or gain anything, just trying to really maintain. And his food is great, man. I can't complain. I haven't been craving any snacks. I love candy, so I usually have me a little, some gummy bears or something to the side. But lately, I've been, disciplined and not eating my little sweets here and there.
But you do have some treats at some point.
Oh yeah, at some point, every now and then you have to treat yourself on the weekend. Ain't nothing wrong with a little cheat day.
Okay. I don't know, maybe gummy bears is a treat, or maybe a Texas barbecue place.
Yeah, that would be good too. I just don't want to get addicted. That's all.
Yeah, fair. So until when are you in Texas? Are you basically in Texas all the way up until pro day, and then do you go back? What are kind of your plans?
Oh yeah, I'll be in Texas until March 19th. And then MJP, they actually send like a guide or a video on things to do before your pro day. In between that time you leave and your pro day to make sure that your body can perform at its, maximum proficiency. So March 19th is the date where I leave here, and March 23rd is the pro day. So time is trickling down, and just getting more focused every day. And I'm ready. I'm ready to, like I said, prove myself and just show scouts what I can do.
Yeah, and I'm sure they definitely do have some good game film of you. I still remember, I talked to your parents. I think it was just before the BYU game is when I talked to your parents, around about that time. And I still remember your mom telling me that she questioned if she was ever going to go to one of your home games because she's like, I don't know if I should go because I've not seen him score a touchdown yet at UVA. So I hope your mom will see you score a touchdown and when you go play in the NFL, because that woman really wants to see you score a touchdown.
Oh yeah, I'll make sure of it. They'll be at every game.
Well, Devin, I really appreciate your time, catching up and everything. And I know we've talked about this, but I look forward to catching up in the next few weeks too, to kind of see how your training's going as we count down to pro day. That is something that I'm really excited about. We'll have something called the Darrington Diaries on Wahoo's 24/7, where Devin will just keep us in the loop about how his training's going, maybe about the meal planning and all the crazy new stuff that he's trying. Not Texas barbecue though.
Not Texas barbecue. I'm sorry, I can't have that. So I'm sorry to disappoint, but
maybe in the future.
Oh yeah, in the future, one day. But I thank you for having me on the show. It's great, and I love what you're doing. And you've always been positive, and just a great person. So I appreciate you having me on here and giving me the opportunity to speak and showcase myself and just talk to anybody listening. So thank you.
Well, I'm glad to have you, and of course, we'll have you here on again soon. So thank you, Devin, so much.
Thank you.